It is indeed a great honor to have been given this opportunity to share my thoughts on a very important subject, that is gender justice, a subject so close to the hearts of all of us who are present here. I take this opportunity to express my deepest gratitude to Arunachal Pradesh Women Welfare Society for inviting me for their 46th Foundation Day celebration of the society and thereby making me a part of this august gathering. I would like to share my thoughts, next please. I would like to share my thoughts on the broad theme of development and gender justice, with particular focus on issues and challenges of mountain economies. Why mountain economies? This is because I have had the opportunity to work on this area for nearly 2 decades in different capacities. My presentation will explore the meaning of gender justice in the context of the ongoing debate on development and women's empowerment that is being largely shaped by specific histories, cultures, and struggles that is evident across diverse landscape of our country. This picture which I have put here very beautifully captures what are the challenges that women in our society face. There is inequality, we want equality, we want equity, and we want justice. And how do we achieve this? Next, please. The context-specific struggles of women presents not only regional perspective on gender justice, but also provides new insights for advocacy and research. Gender, next please, is an important question in development literature as it focuses on difference in welfare outcomes. These differences are often created by structural features of the economy, mainly unequal access to assets. मतलब हमारे पास प्रॉपर्टी होता है, एसेट्स होता है, उसका एक्सेस सबको नहीं होता है, महिलाओं को बहुत ही कम होता है. Mainly unequal access to assets, resources, and opportunities. Gender differences are vast despite policy measures initiated from time to time. सरकार बहुत पॉलिसीज बनाती है कि जेंडर इक्वालिटी हो, उसके बावजूद हम देखते हैं कि जेंडर डिफरेंसेस है. Policies often address only a part of the problem, not as a whole. Capabilities are interrelated. This clearly needs to be addressed in its totality. In this regard, it needs to be noted that equality of opportunities is fundamental. Be of any sex, every person must have equal opportunity. Next, please. Coming down to work and employment, they are critical to understanding the quality of life. Employment brings earnings, and earnings bring power to access resources and consumption goods. अगर हम नौकरी करेंगे, हमारे पास अर्न करेंगे, तभी हमारे पास पावर होता है कि हम कुछ खरीद सकते हैं, कुछ कंज्यूम कर सकते हैं. Access to employment comes through education, health and other resources. हमें employment कैसे मिलेगा? अगर हमारे पास good education होगा, I'm healthy, it is only then that I can build up human capabilities. However, it needs to be understood, next please, that gender discrimination is interrelated. It is not only about male-female differences. It is about equality of opportunity for all. Taking work and work burden as an example, I examine the unevenness in opportunities for women in particular regional contexts. My thoughts on this subject has been broadly categorized into 3 distinct but interrelated segments. Next, please. The first part would link the thinking on gender justice to debates on women empowerment and development. The second part would present regional perspective on gender justice, particularly in the context of mountain economies. The gendered transformation in hill economies will form the crux of this segment. The third part will highlight women's work burden across the Indian Himalayan region by using the time use survey. The significance of a situated and context-specific discussion on gender justice, women empowerment and development will be central to our understanding of these issues. Understanding the ideological and cultural justification for women's subordination within the existing arena such as family, community, market, the state, and even the institution of religion are central to the understanding of patterns of prevailing inequality. It's not that if inequality we face at every level, family, community, market level, state level, even at the institution of religion. So this is what I want to address. Next, please. The status of women in any society, as we all know, can be looked at from 3 interrelated but distinct aspects. Previous slide, Kanchan. The material condition of existence and access to various opportunities and freedom are the fundamental requirements for the well-being of individuals, but equally important are social attitudes and self-perceived status of women. So obviously we know that the status of women is governed by many things, many indicators. I have taken few: well-being and survival, 1. Second, educational attainment, employment and work, participation in decision making, and security of freedom from violence. Next, please. I start with the notion of gender justice. What is gender justice? And how far has the project of gender justice progressed ever since it gained traction in the 4th World Conference of Women in Beijing? Simply put, gender justice should be understood as an outcome and as a process. Now, what does gender justice as an outcome imply? It implies access to, control over resources combined with agency. That is, the ability to make choices. Gender justice is a process which brings an additional essential element, that is accountability. There must be some accountability. This implies the responsibility and answerability of precisely those social institutions set up to dispense justice. Next, please. As already mentioned, the constitution of gender injustices can be read from basic contracts, formal or implicit, that shape membership in a range of social institutions. The family, the community, the market, the state, and even religious institutions. In some way or the other, these institutions are meant to enforce legal rules and prevent the abuse of power. Understanding the ideological and cultural justification of women's subordination with each arena of the social structure helps identifying the existing patterns of inequality. In other words, the context of the struggles for gender justice is critical for comprehending the pattern of inequality. Now I come to this slide. Now coming to the notion of women's empowerment. Simply to put in the words of Naila Kabeer, empowerment can be defined, and I quote, the expansion of people's ability to make strategic life decisions in a context where the ability was previously denied to them, unquote. She further elaborates that changes in this ability requires adjustments in three interrelated and interdependent dimensions. What are they? Resources, agency, and achievements. Resources for empowerment would include economic factors such as income, and human and social resources that enhance the ability to make choices, including institutions such as family, market, and community. The domain of the agency or the power of exercising choice is often measured through decision-making power. The achievement or the outcome is defined by the extent to which the potential is realized and its transformative power. Next, please. This framework of empowerment was further elaborated by Nicola Jones in a fourfold conceptualization. That is, power within, power to, power with, and power over. This implies psychological power, access to resources, participation in institution, and collective action. Power over enables women to challenge unequal power structures of caste and other social cultural practices, conditioning the ability of women to respond to opportunities. Next, please. Another important aspect that needs to be highlighted in the discourse of women's empowerment is the contribution of platforms such as DAWN, that is Development Alternatives for New Era. It is to the credit of Southern feminists, in contrast to the Western feminists, that there is an acceptance that women are not a homogeneous group. Race and class analysis are factors that can no longer be ignored. Issues like identity, representation, indigenous knowledge, and political action need to be part of feminist development discourse. It is noteworthy that geographers have emphasized the importance of context or location in testimonies or voices of women in addition to race and class. Institutions, organizations, and culture are important non-quantitative factors for development. Hence, understanding the total social system is crucial for arriving at a mechanism for the developing countries in the South to achieve rapid economic development. Next, please. This implies that development is a transformation of institutions, structures, and relations that perpetuate injustice, inequality, and inequity. A transformation that can happen only through the exercise of a collective will. Now, how do we understand women empowerment in the Indian context? In the Indian context, it would be best understood as changing the power relationship through individual challenge to patriarchal relations or group resistance to oppressive practices. We all know that at all levels we have fought through the patriarchal system that is there very much prevalent in our society. It needs to be mentioned that the UN Decade for Women during 1975 and 1985 had focused on policies and issues that impacted women, such as pay equity, gendered violence, equitable land rights, and other human rights. So 1975-80s में women लोग बहुत fight किए थे कि हमें equal pay मिलना चाहिए, same काम के लिए क्यों difference in wages, gendered violence, women लोग को क्यों violence सहना पड़े, equitable land rights में हमें क्यों नहीं भागीदार बनाया जाए, हमें क्यों नहीं rights दिया जाए, and other human rights. In India, next please, the Ministry of Education and Social Welfare constituted the Committee on the Status of Women in 1971 to examine the constitutional, legal, and administrative provisions for women and assess the impact of the same and their status. Consequently, the report Towards Equality, presented in 1975, brought to light the prevailing inequalities between man and women in terms of basic or practical needs. The sixth five-year plan, formulated against the backdrop of this report, called for integration of women in development policies. It is noteworthy that the Human Development Report in 1995, which was published by the UNDP, highlighted the disparity among men and women in human development and in the distribution of gains from the same. So in the 90s, human development was a new concept that was coined by Professor Amartya Sen and Professor Maqbool Haq of Bangladesh. At that time, they said development cannot be only GDP numbers, growth rate. It has to ensure that people benefit from the growth rate. That is, how do you have to build people's capability. And आप कैसे people के capabilities को बढ़ा सकते हैं? अगर people healthy होंगे, अगर people को access होगा education, और अगर people को access होगा economic opportunities, income होगा, तभी उनकी capabilities बढ़ाई जा सकती है. Subsequently, in the 9th five-year plan for the period 1997 to 2002, identified women empowerment as a key strategy for development, rather an essential commitment to development goals. The National Policy of Empowerment of Women has stressed the need for mainstreaming gender perspective in the process of development agenda. It envisages women-specific interventions where the gaps in policies and programs, mainstreaming gender has become an important component of policy framework, both at the planning and the implementation level. आजकल हम सुनते हैं gender budgeting. Why? Because now government also wants to know how much money we are giving for women-specific policies. Is there equality? Are they getting those benefits? Next, please. No, it's okay. Now I come and move on to the segment gender justice in the context of mountain economies. I just said mountain economies because I have been working in the mountain areas for the last 2.5 decades. And I'm more of a Arunachali, I would say, than I belong to my home state. And let me tell you, there is no single district which I have not visited in Arunachal. People from Arunachal must not have visited the district, but for my field work, I have visited all the districts of the state, and I have done work along with the State Commission and the Women's Organization, the report, National Commission for Women. We have prepared the report, that is the situational analysis of women and girls in Arunachal Pradesh way back in 2005, again in 2016. The report on social, political and economic empowerment of women in Arunachal Pradesh, that report has been submitted by us, as well as the Niti Aayog. The latest is the Niti Aayog report, which we have submitted in 2023. It was basically on enumeration and valuation of women's work in the Indian Himalayan region. Some findings of the study I will try to reflect here. So coming down to work, employment and empowerment in mountain context. Now what is the difference in the mountain context? Mountain क्यों different है plain से? A significant portion of northeast region in India and Arunachal Pradesh consists of hilly region. हम जानते हैं अरुणाचल में hilly regions बहुत ज़्यादा है, which can be distinguished from the plains on number of grounds. What are the grounds on which you can distinguish it? These are inaccessibility. हमको पहुँचने में कोई जगह बहुत समय लगता है. No road, no motorable road. Fragility, marginality, and diversity or niche are some activities and the products of which the hilly regions have competitive advantage over plains. A set of specificities arise out of human responses to natural specificities of the region. How work and employment has changed the northeast region or Arunachal, I would say. Agriculture in the eastern Himalayas, particularly in Arunachal, used to be primarily need-based. हमें जो ज़रूरत होता था हम वही चीज़ उगाते थे और हम उसको कंज्यूम करते थे. It was need-based. Slash and burn agriculture, locally known as Jhum, was the foundation of the traditional economy. In the past decades, agriculture in the mountain areas have undergone significant transformation. अभी आप देखोगे agriculture में बहुत transformation हो रहा है because commercialization, bringing cash crops into the picture. In the past decades, agriculture in mountain areas have undergone significant transformation. This shift from need-based to commercial agriculture has been accompanied by a shift from collective to private rights over land. Consequently, it has resulted in a gendered process of social and economic transformation. मैं पिछले 20-25 साल से मैं गांव जा रही हूँ, same villages को visit कर रही हूँ, but what is the difference that I have seen? अगर देखा जाए 2005 में हमने अरुणाचल प्रदेश ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट रिपोर्ट बनाया था. गवर्नमेंट ऑफ अरुणाचल एज वेल एज प्लानिंग कमीशन, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एंड यूएनडीपी. उस दौरान हमने जो चीज़ देखा, क्योंकि वो दैट रिपोर्ट वाज प्राइमरीली बेस्ड ऑन प्राइमरी सर्वे. क्योंकि हमारे पास कोई सेकेंडरी डेटा था नहीं, तो हम सारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में उस दैट वाज इन वे बैक इन 2002 and 3 we collected data from all the districts, and then the report, you'll see the report in the website, it is there in the UNDP website, हमने वो रिपोर्ट बनाया था. So उस रिपोर्ट में पहले हमने देखा था कलेक्टिव ओनरशिप ऑफ लैंड था, बट आज हम उसी विलेजेस में जा रहे हैं, सब बोलते हैं ये प्राइवेट है, किसी और का है, ये हमारा है, ये हमारा है. कैडेस्ट्रल सर्वे तो हुआ नहीं है, बट प्राइवेटाइजेशन ऑफ लैंड तो हो गया है. बिकॉज एनी सोसाइटी के लिए पहला चीज है कि यू मस्ट हैव अ कैडेस्ट्रल सर्वे डन. It is only then that you know how much land do you have, what is the common land or the community land. Community land shrink होते जा रही है, बिल्कुल shrink हो गई है. Very small patches of land now you'll find in villages which they will say are common lands. It needs to be highlighted that the agrarian change has impacted men and women differently. How is it so? क्यों men और women को differently impact किया है? In case of women farmers, though they continue to work in agriculture, but their rights over land use are gradually getting eroded. This is on account of gradual commercialization of the economy. Women तो सबसे ज़्यादा काम करती हैं झूम खेत में, फील्ड में, and then what do you find? You find that slowly it is the community land ownership is being eroded, so automatically it's leading to private ownership. This transformation is not simply a replacement of collective ownership by private ownership over land, rather it is a process of gendered disposition. Notwithstanding the relatively higher share of female workers in the total agriculture, their role as de facto farm managers, privatization of land rights has resulted in increasing concentration of land in the hands of men. जैसे जैसे एग्रीकल्चर आप कमर्शलाइज कर रहे हो, आपको पैसा आ रहा है, तो उसका ओनरशिप भी मेन को जा रहा है. Thus, male-centric private property rights over land have emerged and explicitly expanded during this period of increasing feminization of agriculture and higher work burden of women in crop farming as men move out the farm to other non-farm activities. Men लोग क्या है, गांव से नॉन फार्म एक्टिविटीज करने के लिए निकल जा रहे हैं, तो जो काम पहले वो गांव में करते थे वो भी काम महिलाओं को करना पड़ रहा है. उनका वर्क बर्डन बहुत इंक्रीज हो गया. सो आई एम नॉट सेइंग, मैं ऐसे बहकावे में आके नहीं बोल रही हूँ, मैं आपको ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ डेटा, मैं सारा टेबल अगर यहाँ डालती तब आपको बोरियत होती, आपको समझ में नहीं आता. कुछ टेबल मैंने डाला है, बट उसी विलेज में हम जा के देख रहे हैं कि जो काम पहले मेन करते थे, मेन लोग बाहर निकल गए हैं, वो महिलाएं कर रही हैं. Before presenting a detailed analysis of the gender profile of the state of Arunachal Pradesh in terms of few indicators, let me start with a figure that captures the inequality between men and women in the state of Arunachal Pradesh in a very succinct manner. ये डायग्राम आप देख रहे हो, अंदर का जो डीप येलो है that is women का पोजीशन, लाइट येलो men. तो आप क्या देखते हो in terms of access to productive assets like land, educational attainment, employment, political participation, women in the state are lagging behind males. ये वेरी क्लियरली आपको दिख रहा है कि आप देखिए लैंड ऑपरेशन ऑपरेटेड एरिया मेन आर ओनरशिप, लिटरेसी लेवल में भी मेन से कम, वर्क पार्टिसिपेशन में कम है, बट स्टिल स्टेट असेंबली में तो बिल्कुल, पॉलिटिकल पार्टिसिपेशन में बिल्कुल नहीं. सो This tells us about the differences, inequality. Next, please. As far as the well-being and survival is concerned, the right to lead a long, healthy and productive life is one of the fundamental requirements for human development. Or gender justice, greater gender justice in the distribution of food, healthcare and other resources help in ensuring the survival and health of women. Women's work, autonomy in making reproductive choices, and their relative status in the family and community also have an influence on their survival and well-being. Next, please. In case of women farmers, यहाँ मैं बता रही हूँ nutritional status or intra-family distribution of data. This is based on NFHS data. I'm happy to say that you do not find differences in food consumption for male child and female child in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. Next, please. Gender gaps in education? Yes, gender gap exists. And that gender gap, if I compare Arunachal with all the states of Northeast India, the gender gap in case of Arunachal is the highest. Next, please. This map captures the gender gap in literacy level. आप देखो ईस्टर्न और वेस्टर्न में जो रेड और ब्राउन है वहाँ पे उस डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में जेंडर गैप बहुत ज़्यादा है पढ़ाई को लेके, लिटरेसी लेवल को लेके. चांगलांग, तिराप, लॉन्गडिंग दिस साइड एंड वहाँ पे भी तवांग, वेस्ट कामेंग, ईस्ट कामेंग. So it's basically gender gap, मतलब मेल और फीमेल के लिटरेसी रेट का डिफरेंस. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. It's about women and work. We all know that one of the fundamental aspects of gender discrimination in almost all parts of the world is unequal access of women to gainful employment opportunities. Please, next. हम अगर फीमेल वर्क पार्टिसिपेशन ऑफ अरुणाचल प्रदेश लेंगे 1991 से 2011, ये सेंसस के डेटा से है, इसलिए हम 2021 का नहीं दिखा सकते. जब तक सेंसस नहीं आएगा तब हम नहीं दिखा सकते हैं. आप देखोगे कि फीमेल वर्क पार्टिसिपेशन सारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में ऑन एन इज हायर देन द नेशनल एवरेज. इंडिया के फीमेल वर्क पार्टिसिपेशन रेट से इट इज़ वेरी हाई. And it has declined in 5 out of the 16 because 2011 में 16 districts थे, census में 16 districts थे उस हिसाब से. Next, please. Here I have compared it with the northeastern states, which I will not go. You will come to know that because of the labor intensive nature of agriculture जो हम यहाँ practice करते हैं वो बहुत labor intensive है, तो महिलाएं और family members हमेशा उसमें join करते हैं. Hence women का आपको work participation बहुत लगेगा कि इतना high है बहुत empowered है. Next, please. आप compare करो female work participation with all India, तो आप देखोगे अरुणाचल में it is on top. All India level में female work participation is lower. Next, please. But problem ये है कि women सब unorganized sector में हैं. Organized sector आपको सब खेती में भेज दिया जा रहा है, उसमें भी मतलब organized में नहीं है. So आप what you'll find women in the unorganized sector, there is huge gender gap. Women are much higher compared to that of men. Next, please. Now, what do we see in terms of employment? Women are moving out of agriculture, but at a very slow pace. Most of the work they do, it is in the informal sector. Literacy rate among women workers that illiteracy rate is higher than the male workers. even if there is limited amount of diversification, women लोग बाहर काम भी कर रहे हैं, तो आप उनको typically पाओगे low skill, low earning of the spectrum. There are few people who are doing well, but that doesn't make up the percentage. Next please. Land and operational holding, अगर हम agriculture census का data देखेंगे, तो percentage of land held by women operated land, it is just 6.5%. एंड आप देखोगे ऑन एन एवरेज 6.9 हेक्टर 70 में था लैंड होल्डिंग में. इट हैज़ डिक्लाइन इन द लेटेस्ट एग्रीकल्चर सेंसस. अभी तक 15-16 तक था 3.35. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. अगर हम कहते हैं विमेन इन डिसीजन मेकिंग हमें चाहिए, डोमेस्टिक स्फीयर और पब्लिक स्फीयर दो होता है. डोमेस्टिक स्फीयर में कहाँ कहाँ आप उनको प्राइवेट आप प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स दो, उनको मोबिलिटी होना चाहिए, फ्री टू मूव एनीवेयर फॉर जॉब और एनीथिंग. देन चॉइस एंड देयर मस्ट बी इक्वल वर्क बर्डन. एंड इन द पब्लिक स्फीयर give them political participation. They are totally marginalized in the assembly or in the parliament. Share in bureaucracy, very limited. Participation in civil society institutions, if we see, we find very few organizations which give them representation. Next please. पॉलिटिकल पार्टिसिपेशन में तो मैं कुछ कहना ही नहीं चाहती हूँ, क्योंकि आप देखते हो अपार्ट फ्रॉम पंचायती राज सिस्टम जहाँ मैंडेटरी कर दिया है 33%, उसमें आप देखते हो कि विमेन का रिप्रेजेंटेशन है. बट विथ 2027 अगर शायद गवर्नमेंट रूल लाएगी जिसमें पार्लियामेंट में भी उनको देगी रिजर्वेशन, तो हो सकता है. बट इट्स नॉट दैट आई एम इन फेवर ऑफ रिजर्वेशन. मैं चाहती हूँ रिजर्वेशन हमेशा किसी पर्टिकुलर टाइम पीरियड तक रहे, 5 साल 10 साल, उसके बाद ओपन इट अप, बिकॉज वी मस्ट compete. We no need to get things through reservation. Let us compete and be as equals. Next please. Crime against women देखा जाए, मैं 2000 से अगर डेटा देती हूँ, this is the police department of government of अरुणाचल प्रदेश, 2015 तक है. आप देखोगे इन द लेटर ईयर्स देयर इज मोर रिपोर्टिंग ऑफ द क्राइम. पहले तो लोग डर से रिपोर्ट भी नहीं करते थे. सो यू विल फाइंड देयर इज अ राइजिंग ट्रेंड. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. ये है डिस्ट्रिक्ट वाइज क्राइम अगेंस्ट वुमेन एज परसेंटेज टू टोटल क्राइम. टोटल क्राइम जो होता है उसके डिस्ट्रिक्ट वाइज देखो कौन सा डिस्ट्रिक्ट सबसे ज़्यादा है. पापुमपारे, आई थिंक वेस्ट सियांग, फिर है अपर सुबनसिरी, लोहित, अंजाव. तो वो सब डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में क्राइम अगेंस्ट विमेन ज़्यादा है एज अ परसेंटेज ऑफ टोटल क्राइम. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. कॉम्पोजिशन ऑफ द क्राइम, क्या क्या कॉम्पोजिशन है, क्या क्या क्राइम है. रेप, किडनैपिंग, मॉलेस्टेशन, क्रूएलिटी बाय हस्बैंड एंड रिलेटिव्स एंड सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. नाउ दिस इज द लास्ट सेगमेंट where I would be talking about women's work burden in the Indian Himalayan region, insights from time use survey. Now, why time use survey? Why do we need to have time use survey? In case of mountain economies of the Indian Himalayan region, the time use survey has an added significance. Given the relative importance of subsistence production and low levels of commercialization of the economy. What do we find? Most of these economies are partial market economies. Non-market transactions are still very significant. पूरा marketed economy नहीं है. barter अंदर जाएंगे आप, barter system भी चलता है. The work that women do is often overlapping across sectors and across activities. Animal husbandry काम भी कर रही, household chores भी कर रहे, so overlapping of work. Much of the women's work, both visible and invisible, is not documented in the official statistics. The contribution of women towards household, food security and energy security is immense. We find that most of the women are engaged in work that contribute to the economy in one form or the other. Much of their work is not documented. The study on women's unpaid labor through the time use survey is very much applicable in case of hill economy. Now I come to the study which we did for the Niti Aayog. What I want to say, it was the Indian Himalayan region. We had conducted the study in 13 states. Jammu Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and from this side, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, Assam, Sikkim, Darjeeling in West Bengal, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram. And next please, total number of districts 44, total number of villages 833, and target group was 15 to 59 years of females as well as males, and total sample size for females was 15,399. So this was a study, and the sample size, the bigger the state, the sample size. जैसे अरुणाचल का आप देखो sample size 2,160. मतलब bigger the state, bigger the sample. It was done in a very scientific way. The report is out. It is on the website. You can always get to see. So what did we find? Next, please. We found first thing, feminization of agriculture and deforestation is leading to increase in women's work burden. Access to forest and forest-based resources are very crucial for survival. It's collecting firewood, carrying water, cleaning, washing clothes, repairing household goods, cooking, serving, child care, teaching, caring of the sick. So maximum time पूरे अगर हम देखते हैं ईस्टर्न और वेस्टर्न हिमालयन में यहाँ की महिलाएं बहुत ज़्यादा समय बिताती हैं. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. नाउ दिस इज जेंडर बेस्ड पार्टिसिपेशन इन प्राइमरी एक्टिविटीज़. अगर आप देखोगे प्राइमरी एक्टिविटीज़ क्या क्या होता है, फार्मिंग, किचन गार्डनिंग, एनिमल हस्बेंड्री, फिशिंग, ये सारी चीज़ें में भी महिलाएं बहुत ज़्यादा समय बिताती हैं. तो हमें क्या, व्हाट डू वी conclude? That women of the Indian Himalayan region, they spend a considerable time in SNA primary related activities, while in Eastern Himalayan region, they spend a considerable amount of their time in crop farming and other related activities like animal husbandry, fishing, forestry are more dominant. Thus, we see that both in the eastern and western Himalayan region, the contribution of women in terms of time is found to be very high in terms of extended SNA activities. My concluding thoughts. Now, I come to the conclusion. Despite improvements in many areas, persistent gender inequalities remain fundamental challenge in the current century. Gender justice cannot be achieved without transforming entrenched gender biases in the economy and the society. The first step towards building an inclusive and just social order is to keep human beings at the center of our development thinking. Firstly, it is important to acknowledge the invisible economic contribution of women. Despite decades of discussion on women's economic contribution in general, their unpaid contribution in household and social survival remains invisible and undervalued. Better conceptualization and data collection to address these biases should remain our top priority. Next, secondly, the barrier that women face in joining gainful employment requires intervention by the government and the society. Equality of opportunity to gain access in education, skill, and experience is fundamental to get employment. You have to be better educated. It is only then you can get employment. So provide them with equal opportunities. In areas such as STEM, that is only 40, that is science and technology, women have relatively less presence, and we need to correct these disparities. If the quality of employment deteriorates, then all workers, but more particularly women workers, get discouraged. Affirmative action policies to attract women to better paid jobs are needed. Next, please. Gender segregation of work and the concentration of women workers in low-paying, insecure employment need special policy attention. Let me tell you, government is giving special attention, because the other day the RBI bank people had come to our university and they said, ma'am, please अपने लड़कियों को बोलो, हमारे इतने positions निकले हैं, हम लोग लड़की को देना चाहते हैं, because we have too many boys, it is very much skewed towards them. So please ask the girls to apply and preference will be given to girls. So thirdly, workplace must be free from gender discrimination. Creating and encouraging discrimination-free and safe environment at workplace should be our top priority. This is not just about having laws and mechanisms that identify and discourage gender discrimination. It is also about changing entrenched biases, social norms, and attitudes. And finally, gender is deeply embedded in the social context. A universal framework for gender justice has to be supplemented by regional and sectoral policies. As the example of mountain economies suggests, women face different and special economic challenges in specific contexts. That is why a disaggregated and regionally focused approach is the need of the hour. Next. Towards gender equality, we have to mainstream gender concerns in policy making, implementation as well as monitoring, whether it is being done. Monitor भी कीजिए कि ये implement हो रहा है कि नहीं. Greater state civil society coordination at different levels, affirmative action in specific spheres. कई जगह होगा जहां आपको affirmative action लेना पड़ेगा, and decentralized decision making. This is the last slide, which says policy towards inclusive development. This is more focused with Arunachal. Though women play a very significant role in both food gathering and food production, thereby ensuring food, nutrition and energy security at the household levels in Arunachal Pradesh, but when it comes to property rights, they are completely marginalized. मुझे ये भी कहना है कि ये नहीं कि हमारे यहाँ सब लोग property rights लेते हैं. My parents have given me property rights in that ancestral land. But yes, it is an issue even there. But things have to change now. Privatization, commercialization and degradation of forests have led to their further marginalization, with women losing access to these resources. Common property resources जब था, women freely जाके collect कर सकती थी. जब आप उसको privatize कर देते हो, तो उनका access कम हो गया. In the absence of property rights, they have no access or no control over the money that comes out from the commercial exploitation of land, forest, and consequently, they continue to remain disempowered and marginalized. Thus, enactment of inheritance laws giving women equal rights in land and property is the need of the hour. It is to be noted that in the absence of property rights, women have become both invisible and voiceless. So, मैं तो APP, that is Arunachal Pradesh Women Welfare Society को पिछले 20 साल से देखा है कि आप लोग ग्रो किए, सीनियर मेंबर्स सब बैठे हुए हैं, मैं फॉर्मर प्रेसिडेंट्स को देख रही हूँ, आप लोग ने बहुत मेहनत करके इस संस्था को इस हद तक ले आए। आज 46th फाउंडेशन डे हम सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं। आई थिंक मेरा बहुत नमन आप लोग को रिस्पेक्ट कि आप लोग ने उस ज़माने में संघर्ष किया जब कोई आप लोग के बारे सुनता ही नहीं था। आज तो गवर्नमेंट आप देखिए विमेन एम्पावरमेंट के लिए हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर बहुत फोकस कर रहे हैं, तो गवर्नमेंट को ज़बरदस्ती कोई भी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को इम्प्लीमेंट करना पड़ रहा है, पर उस दौरान आप लोग ने संघर्ष किया। मैं तो जाजू मैम के साथ भी क्लोजली काम किया, आप भी मैम यहाँ पे हो, तो सब लोग के साथ हमने देखा है कि आप लोग इतना पैशनेटली काम किए। इसके लिए मैं विमेन वेलफेयर सोसाइटी को नमन करती हूँ और मेरा रिस्पेक्ट। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर इनवाइटिंग मी।